Greetings everyone, welcome to Commerce Classes. As you all know, we are working on calculation of cost of inventories. We are understanding cost concept for inventory valuation. Now in the last class we studied valuation questions of raw materials. So this time we'll move one step ahead and we will work on valuation of finished products. Right? Okay. So this is the example that we studied last time, and this was a question which I had given you. Now taking up this question which involves raw materials as well as finished products. So from first stage of raw material we will move on to the next stage as well. ABC Limited manufactures a product using raw material M2. The company purchased 8,000 kg of raw material at 100 rupees per kg, and company paid GST of 10 rupees per kg, for which it will avail tax credit. Now, will this 10 rupees be included in the cost? I mean, shall we be taking cost as 110 rupees per kg, or should we take it as 100? As your question says that you will be availing tax credit, so GST will not be a part of cost. So as you paid 100 rupees for raw material plus you paid GST, so we will not add GST. So our cost will be 100 rupees only. Then you have loading, unloading charges, etc. These are very much a part of cost. Then purchase was done by taking bank overdraft, but this is not considered. This is not a part of cost of product. Normal loss in transit is assumed to be 3%, but you actually received 7,800 units. So we'll have to measure normal and abnormal losses. You manufactured 1,800 units. This is actually kilograms. So you received 7,800 kilograms out of the total 8,000 kilograms of raw material that you bought. So since loss is 3%, so 8,000 into 3% is 240 kilograms. So if you have a loss within 240 kilograms, it will be your normal loss. But if it is beyond that, then it will be abnormal loss. So herein, since your loss is 200 kilograms, that is which is within this threshold, so we will assume that there is a normal loss of 200 kilograms and there is no abnormal loss. Then you manufactured 1,800 units. Each unit requires 4 kilogram of raw material. So 7,200 kilogram of raw material will be used. Remaining will be left with you. So we are to calculate the cost of raw material, closing balance, etc. So this is all same, right, as we have done in the previous examples. So we'll simply work on the quantities. Number one, so our quantity purchased is 8,000 kilograms. Now quantity received is 7,800 kilograms. That means you have a loss of 200 kilograms in transit. Now the threshold of normal loss is 2%. So out of total 8,000 kilograms, normal loss is 3%. That means 240 kilograms of loss is assumed to be normal. So this loss is falling very much within this threshold, within this limit. So you have a normal loss of 200 kilograms and you do not have abnormal loss. So it is not there. Second thing is, out of quantities received, that is 7,800 kilograms, quantity used is, you produced 1,800 units at the rate of 4 kilogram of raw material per unit. So 7,200 units kilogram of raw material will be used. So 800 kilogram of quantity is left. So this is closing balance of raw material, right? Now third thing will be valuation of cost. So cost price of 8000 kilograms at the rate of 100 rupees, 10 will not be added, right? So it is 8 lakh. Then you have freight and other charges etc. totaling 73,600. So total cost is 8,73,600. This is total cost of 7,800 kilograms, because normal loss is spread out. So you purchased 8,000 kilograms, but after normal loss you have 7,800 kilogram of quantity with you. So your total cost will be spread over these many units. So cost per kilogram of raw material is going to be 8,73,600 upon 7,800 kilograms. So that you are getting 112 rupees per kg. So you can use it to calculate all the amounts. So value of closing stock of raw material 600 kilograms at the rate of 112 will be measured. So 67,200. Value of raw material used, you used 7,200 kilograms at the rate of 112. So that gives you 8,06,400 rupees. Okay, so normal loss is not measured, it is evened out. Abnormal loss is not there. Now that completes valuation of raw materials. So this is what we have done in the previous examples also. Now coming to the finished products. So what do you have? In order to do the production work, you use raw materials, you have labor cost, you have overheads direct, then you have fixed overheads, but these are fixed on the capacity of 10,000 units. So we will measure the cost price of finished products. Okay, so you have raw material being used. So you are using 4 kilogram of raw material at the rate of 112. So this is 448 rupees. Okay, then you have direct labor cost. You have labor cost 75 rupees per unit. So this will be taken as 75. Then you have direct overheads. Your overheads are 1,17,000 and you produced 1,800 units. So your labor cost is 65 rupees, overhead cost, sorry. Then you have fixed overheads, but these overheads are 1,56,000 for 10,000 units. So per unit price is 15.6. All right. So your per unit cost is coming out to be 603 rupees 60 paisa. So this is your cost per unit. So once we have measured the finished products, we can measure the closing inventory also. So next will be for quantities. So quantity produced 1,800 units and quantity sold, now there is some error here, it is 1,700 units. Okay, so quantity sold is 1,700 units. So 100 units is closing balance. Value of inventory of finished stock will be taken at cost of 603 rupees 60 paisa into 100 units, right? So this is 60,360. So this is how we measure the inventories on cost basis, both raw material and finished product. So I hope this method is clear to you. You can practice more questions of this type. Thank you very much.